For decades, Bed Bath & Beyond occupied a predictable place in American life. It was not built on aspiration, it was built on utility. College move-ins, wedding registries, first apartments, routine household replacements. The store appeared at moments of transition rather than indulgence. Customers did not browse for inspiration. They went with a list. They expected to find familiar products. They expected them to be available, and they expected to leave without uncertainty. Bed Bath & Beyond was not exciting, but it was dependable. That dependability was not a marketing language. It was reinforced through repetition. Over time, reliability became trust. The company's advantage was structural rather than stylistic. Bed Bath & Beyond focused on assortment depth, not breadth. Instead of carrying many unrelated categories, it stocked narrow categories extensively. Within towels, cookware, or storage, customers encountered multiple brands and variations. This allowed side-by-side comparison without leaving the store. The model reduced decision friction. Customers did not need sales guidance. They relied on recognition. Economically, this structure mattered. High turnover justified large footprints. Vendor competition supported pricing leverage. Coupons stimulated volume without collapsing margins. The system worked because familiarity drove traffic. In-traffic sustained the economics. As the company expanded across the United States, success reinforced confidence. New stores followed the same large format design: wide aisles, tall shelving, dense inventory. The formula scaled cleanly. Revenue growth appeared steady. Cash flow remained predictable. The business was not driven by trends or seasons. Demand appeared resilient across economic cycles. Internally, Bed Bath & Beyond did not resemble a fragile retailer. The model had worked for years. There was little incentive to reconsider what seemed proven. The first meaningful shift did not occur on the sales floor. It emerged from margin evaluation. As competition intensified, pricing pressure followed. National brands limited control. They constrained flexibility. Private label products offered an alternative. They promised higher gross margins, greater inventory predictability, and exclusivity competitors could not replicate. From a spreadsheet perspective, the trade-off appeared favorable. Private labels reduced dependency on vendors. They increased control over promotions and pricing. Internally, this reframed success. Assortment decisions began prioritizing control over familiarity. The incentive structure changed quietly. This shift also changed how risk was distributed. National brands absorbed demand uncertainty. They invested in recognition, marketing, and consistency. Private labels transferred that risk inward. If products underperformed, the exposure was no longer shared. It belonged entirely to the retailer. In the short term, this appeared manageable. Volumes were predictable. Customer loyalty still existed. But the structure now required confidence. That demand could be shaped rather than followed. That assumption would be tested later. Early outcomes did not appear alarming. Private label items sold, often alongside national brands. Traffic declines were gradual. Sales softness appeared uneven. Internally, this was interpreted as transition noise. The change seemed incremental rather than disruptive. What remained unclear was how customers processed the shift. Assortment depth narrowed slowly. The loss of familiarity was distributed across categories. No single moment signaled urgency. The signal existed, but it lacked definition. Instead of slowing the strategy, the company expanded it. More national brands were reduced or removed. Private labels moved into additional categories. Operational complexity declined. Vendor leverage increased. From a control perspective, the system improved. From a customer perspective, certainty weakened. Reversal became expensive. Reintroducing brands required renegotiation. Rebuilding trust required time and consistency. Both conflicted with near-term financial pressures. The system began reinforcing itself. Operationally, the model became more rigid. Inventory planning optimized around margin protection, not traffic recovery. Floor layouts reflected fewer brand relationships. Assortment decisions became harder to reverse. Each additional private label reduced the feasibility of reintroducing former brands. The system favored consistency over experimentation. At this stage, changing direction meant accepting short-term instability. That trade-off was increasingly difficult to justify. For shoppers, the change unfolded gradually. Products they expected were no longer available. Replacements lacked recognition. Comparison required more effort. Outcomes became less predictable. Coupons no longer offset uncertainty. The shopping trip lost efficiency. The store still existed, but it no longer performed the same function. Once reliability disappeared, visits became optional. Traffic reflected that change. Other retailers faced similar pressures. They responded differently. Target preserved national brands, while limiting private labels to defined roles. Amazon expanded both assortment and fulfillment speed. These companies absorbed margin pressure without narrowing customer choice. Their constraints were addressed externally. Bed Bath & Beyond internalized the risk. Choice became the variable sacrificed. The difference was structural. These competitors preserved optionality. Their assortments allowed substitution without eliminating recognition. Vendor relationships remained active. Brand presence remained visible. When demand shifted, adjustments occurred at the edges. Bed Bath & Beyond had fewer edges left. Choice was no longer flexible. It was embedded. That distinction shaped what was possible next. Not cultural, not stylistic. By the time traffic declines became unmistakable, flexibility had narrowed. Vendor relationships had weakened. Store layouts were fixed. Inventory strategies favored margin stability over recovery. Capital allocation focused on containment. The system could continue operating, but it could no longer adapt meaningfully. Reversal required investment without certainty. That option no longer aligned with constraints. What remained was a recognizable name without its original function. The store still sold home goods, but it no longer provided certainty. Assortment depth had narrowed. Trust had eroded. Traffic had declined. The collapse was not sudden. It emerged from a sequence of decisions that reduced familiarity and limited recovery options. By the time the outcome was visible, the path back had already closed.